Madhav. So if you know, you can sing also. Yashodanandana Rajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त श्रीराधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पश्यत्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna. So today we're reading from Bhagavad Gita. We're going to be reading from chapter 2, text 40. Before I begin, I would just like to seek the blessings of all of you who are present here, of all the devotees. I'm not qualified to be sitting here and speaking to all of you. All of you are my superiors. But the devotees have asked me to give this class today, so I'll try to speak whatever I learned from all of the devotees. So please bless me that I'll be able to say something that is going to be pleasing to all the Vaishnavas and to Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda. So let's just say the prayers before we begin Bhagavad Gita. We'll say, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so before we begin today's verse, how many of you are new to the Bhagavad Gita? Maybe not so familiar with the contents. Anybody here? Yeah? Okay. So maybe before we read today's verse, we can just do a brief summary of what's been going on in the Bhagavad Gita so far. Those of you who know the Bhagavad Gita can help me out here. So how does the Bhagavad Gita begin? Who knows? Battlefield of Kurukshetra. Okay, and who is there on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? Krishna and? Krishna and Arjun. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita begins with Krishna and Arjun on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Now, why are they there? Why is this battle even happening? Say, don't be shy, you can say. Sorry? Someone knows? Why was the battle of Kurukshetra happening? Why were Krishna and Arjun there? Why were they going to fight this battle? Fight the evil? Yes? Yes? Yeah. Yeah, so they were fighting against the Kauravas. And the Kauravas, they were evil people. The Kauravas were actually the Pandavas' cousins. But they were evil. In so many ways, they tried to kill the Pandavas. And what they did was they usurped the Pandavas' kingdom. And the Pandavas, they were very righteous people. They were very good people. And they tried in so many ways to make a peaceful agreement with the Kauravas, to not make this war happen. But they tried in so many ways, but there was no agreement. The Kauravas wouldn't agree. They said that we won't give you even as much land as the point of a pin can hold. Not even a dot of land we'll give you. And so finally, the Pandavas had no choice but to fight this war. So Bhagavad Gita begins with Arjuna and Krishna. They're on their chariot in the middle of this battlefield before the war began. And Arjun, he asked Krishna to take his chariot in between both of the armies so that he can see everyone there who he has to fight with. And so Krishna, he does this, and then Arjun, he sees on the opposite side, he sees his grandfathers there, Bhishmadev. He sees his guru, Dronacharya, and he sees so many different friends and relatives. And when Arjun, he sees all of these people, then he's like, I don't want to fight this war. How can I kill my teacher? How can I kill my guru? And so he feels like completely bewildered. At the same time, it's his duty to fight this war as a Kshatriya, to reestablish religion in the world. But then how can he kill his own teacher, his own grandfather, all of his friends? And so Arjuna, he becomes completely bewildered. And it says that, so much so that his entire body is trembling. It says he's crying, and his Gandiva bow, it slips out of his hand. And so he turns to Krishna, who is his very dear friend. And in the beginning of chapter 2, he surrenders unto Krishna, and he says, Krishna, I accept you as my guru, as my spiritual guide. And now in this state of complete confusion, I ask you to please tell me what I should do. How do I get out of this state of complete confusion? And so then in the beginning of chapter 2, Krishna, he starts answering Arjuna. He starts speaking to Arjuna. And the first thing that he teaches Arjuna, the first lesson, is what is Arjuna's identity, or what is all of our identity. And he teaches Arjuna that actually we're not just this body, we're not just our mind, we're not just our intelligence, but actually we're the spirit soul. And so, this is actually a very powerful teaching. If you ask any random person on the street, if you go outside now and ask someone on the streets in London or something, who are you? What will they say? People will be confused, like, what kind of a question is that? Like, I don't know. But this is such an important question, because if we don't know who we are, how are we going to know what our purpose is, what our duty is, what we're supposed to do? So the whole civilization is going on like this. People, they don't know who they are, and so they're doing the wrong thing. They're working for the wrong goals, and they don't have the right purpose, and therefore they're not finding happiness. So this is the first lesson that Krishna teaches in the Bhagavad Gita, is first of all, understand who you really are, and then you'll be able to find true happiness. So Krishna teaches Arjuna that you're the soul, and the soul in this material world is covered by this material body. And so as a spirit soul in this material body, living in this material world, the next lesson that Krishna teaches is that we have two duties. So one of our duties is our material duty. Because we have this material body and we're living in this material world, we have the duty to take care of this body, to maintain this body, and to deal with the world around us. And so this duty is called our swadharma, our material occupation, our material duty. But then Krishna says that above this duty, we have another duty, which is our sanatana dharma, our eternal occupation, our eternal duty as a spirit soul. So in the verses we've been reading, those of you who have been coming to the Gita class regularly, you will have heard these verses. Krishna has been explaining our swadharma, our material duty. He's telling Arjuna that you are a kshatriya. Materially, you are a warrior. You've been born in the family of the king. You're a prince and you're a warrior. And so it's your duty to fight for a religious cause. And therefore, it's your duty to fight in this war, in this battle, because you're a warrior. And he says that, if you don't fight, then you will get sin for not doing your duty. And other people will also, they'll speak bad about you, you'll be defamed. And that this dishonor that will come, it will be worse than death for you. So he's telling Arjuna that you should fight because it's your duty as a kshatriya. And then in today's verse, which is text 40, Krishna is going to start explaining our sanatana dharma. Why Arjuna should fight based on his sanatana dharma. His duty as a spirit soul. So I'll just read the previous verse from yesterday. This is text 39. Krishna says, "Thus far I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O Sanaprita, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works." So now Krishna will be explaining how we can work in a way that will not give us fruitive results, and it will actually free us from all the bondage of work. So let's read today's verse. I'll just read the Sanskrit, and you can repeat after me. Neha bhikramana shashti pratyavayo na vidyate svalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Neha bhikramana shashti pratyavayo na vidyate svalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Would someone like to recite the verse? You can read from there. Neha bhikramana shashti pratyavayo na vidyate. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Anyone else would like to try? Okay, we'll do the word for word. You can repeat. Na, there is not. Iha, in this yoga. Abhikrama, in endeavoring. Nasha, loss. Asti, there is. Pratyavaya, diminution. Na, never. Vidyate, there is. Swalpam, a little. Api, although. Asya, of this. Dharmasya, occupation. Trayate, releases. Mahata, from very great. Bhayat, danger. So translation and purport. This translation and purport was written by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, who we see sitting there. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Purport. Activity in Krishna consciousness, or acting for the benefit of Krishna without expectation of sense gratification, is the highest transcendental quality of work. Even a small beginning of such activity finds no impediment, nor can that small beginning be lost at any stage. Any work begun on the material plane has to be completed, otherwise the whole attempt becomes a failure. But any work begun in Krishna consciousness has a permanent effect, even though not finished. The performer of such work is therefore not at a loss, even if his work in Krishna consciousness is incomplete. 1% done in Krishna consciousness bears permanent results, so that the next beginning is from the point of 2%. Whereas in material activity, without 100% success, there is no profit. Ajamil performed his duty in some percentage of Krishna consciousness, but the result he enjoyed at the end was 100%. By the grace of the Lord. There is a nice verse in this connection in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Text 17. Tyaktva svadharmam charanam pujam harer bhajana pakva tapate tato yade yatra kvava bhadram abhuda mushyakim kovartapto bhajatam svadharmata. If someone gives up his occupational duties and works in Krishna consciousness, and then falls down on account of not completing his work, what loss is there on his part? And what can one gain if one performs his material activities perfectly? Or as the Christians say, what profit a man if he gains the whole world, yet suffers the loss of his eternal soul? Material activities and their results end with the body. But work in Krishna consciousness carries a person again to Krishna consciousness, even after the loss of the body. At least one is sure to have a chance in the next life of being born again as a human being, either in the family of a great cultured Brahmin or in a rich aristocratic family. That will give one a further chance for elevation. This is the unique quality of work done in Krishna consciousness. So I'll read the verse again. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So in this material world, everyone has so many different types of fear. Can anyone here say that I have no fear? Yeah, so we all have so many different types of fears. And in this verse, they use, fear is described as dangerous, because it said that if we have too much fear, this can actually impede our growth. Like if we're too afraid of failure, we can be so afraid that we might never even have the courage to try to succeed. Fear it can make people dysfunctional, it can make them paranoid, it can make them anxious. And it says that fear can actually cause death. Many times people are so afraid that just the thought of an undesirable event happening, it makes them die, like a person or an animal, before they even actually have to experience that situation. And so, here it's described as saying the most dangerous type of fear. So it said that the most dangerous type of fear is the fear of death. And we can see that, when people die, they're often in a very fearful circumstance. Often people are crying, they're screaming, they're full of anxiety and full of fear. Because at the time of death, everything is taken away from a person. In our life, we all work so hard for so many different things. We work hard to accumulate wealth. We work hard to have different relationships, different positions in society, to create different things. But when we die, all of that is taken away from us. And so people, they're in so much anxiety. Here in the purport, Prabhupada says that any work begun on the material plane has to be completed, otherwise the whole attempt becomes a failure. It says material activities and their results end with the body. Yeah, so we can see this. They say that actually the most amazing thing in this world, who knows, what's the most amazing thing in this world? Think, what's very amazing in this world if we think? Yeah? Yeah, this is from, it's from Dharmaraj. He taught Yudhisthira. He said the most amazing thing in this world is that people, they see death all around them. All around us we see people dying. Maybe our parents, our grandparents, or just different people, animals even, everywhere people are dying. But then we feel that I won't die. We know that, yes, there is death. I will die one day. But we act in a way that death will never die. Our whole life we try to accumulate so many things. We try to build a life, we try to forget death, try to push it away and just pretend that, okay, let me not think about that. Let me just try to be happy in life. And so he says that, this is actually the most amazing thing. Everyone sees death all around them, but still we all think, when death actually comes to us, we're like shocked, we're surprised, oh my God, now I have to die. And so, yeah. And it's not only that, but at death, the Yamadutas come. Who knows who the Yamadutas are? You know, Yamaduta? Who is that? Who take our soul. Yeah. And it says the Yamadutas, they look so scary, so terrifying, that when a person sees the Yamadutas, when they're about to die, just by seeing them, how scary they look, they lose their consciousness. It's like, nowadays we have horror movies and we see all kinds of scary people. But the Yamadutas are like way more scary than anything we can see in a horror movie, anything we've ever experienced. And so people, they die in such a fearful state and such a fearful condition. And modern science, they've created so many things. And for so long, they've also been trying to find a solution to death, to stop people from suffering from death. But so far, they haven't been able to do anything to help people, to help stop people experiencing this great fear that they have at death. It said that actually people die more fearful than ever now because people are more and more materialistic. They have more attachments and more desires. And so when everything is taken away from them at death, they are very, very fearful in a very difficult situation. It said actually the more materialistic a person is, the more fearful a death they will experience. And this you can see practically. If you just observe the life of a person who has lived a spiritual life, you observe them at the time of their death, you can see it's completely different from the way a materialistic person dies. When I was young, my father, he used to help with devotee care. It was like he would help devotees when they were in their final days, close to death. And he said that it was actually such a wonderful experience because it builds our faith so much. Just to see, because normally people, when they die, they're like, full of fear, full of anxiety, like crying, screaming, and everything. But he said that these devotees, they just very peacefully, they gave up their bodies because they were not afraid of death. I also remember we were in Vrindavan when one great leader in our society, his name is Kadambakananda Swami, when he left his body. And right before, he had stage 4 cancer. It was like a very, normally it would be something very painful, something very difficult. But he was like, anyone who knows him, you know how joyful he is, how happy he is, how what an amazing personality he is. And just like we were there with him just a few days even before he left this world, but he was like completely unaffected. We were in Vrindavan, so he was doing parikrams around the different places. He would do kirtan, such ecstatic kirtan. Everyone was dancing, everyone was chanting. I said normally when a person is like in this very difficult situation, like diseased, about to die, they become very depressed. And they make the people around them also very depressed. But in Maharaj's case, it was completely opposite. He was actually the source of joy for everyone else. And so it was just so wonderful to see this, that how much difference there is in a person who actually seriously practices spirituality, seriously practices Krishna consciousness, and a materialistic person, how he faces his final. And I said that death is life's final exam. In life, we have so many exams. In school, we have different types of exams. But the final exam is at death. Because I said at the time of death, that determines where we go in our next life. And so our consciousness, when we die, is actually the final exam that's going to carry us to our future. And so, people can argue that some people, they die peaceful, other people, they die in such a fearful state. That's just because different people have different natures. Some people are more peaceful, other people, they're more like afraid. But it's not like that. You can see, if you study it, you'll see carefully, there's a clear correlation between how materialistic a person is and how they die, and how spiritual a person is and how they die. And you'll see that spiritual people, they're generally very peaceful. Even nowadays, like sometimes spiritual people, devotees, they'll go to a hospital and leave their body there. And all of the people who work in the hospital, they're like completely surprised. How did the devotee like just leave their body so peacefully? It's like 1 minute they're alive, they just close their eyes and they're gone. And the doctors are also surprised, like how is it possible they can be so peaceful? And so, why is there this difference? We can ask, why is there this difference? And the answer is given here in the Bhagavad Gita in this verse. Krishna is saying that in this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So this endeavor here is referring to the process of bhakti yoga, the process of Krishna consciousness. And when we practice Krishna consciousness, our Sanatana Dharma, then Krishna says here we're protected from the most dangerous type of fear. And we're protected from all types of fear in our life. And how is this? How is it that we're protected from fear? Just by practicing Krishna consciousness. So one reason is that we gain knowledge. And by this knowledge, we can get a much better perspective of the world. We get to see the bigger picture of life. And we understand who we are. Like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains, he says, Najayate maniyate vakadachit nayam bhut prabhavitavana bhuya ajo nitya shashvato yam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. He says, for the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He's unborn, eternal, ever existing and primeval, and he's not slain when this body is slain. So by this knowledge, we can understand that actually we are indestructible. death is just it's just a change of our body. It's like when we have old clothes, we'll throw them away and we'll buy new clothes. So Krishna explains this in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya, navani grinati naroparani, tata sharirani vihaya jirnani anyati samyani navani dehi. That just as a person puts on new garments and gives up the old ones, similarly the soul, he accepts new bodies and gives up the old and useless ones. So by this knowledge, a person can understand that actually I'm not going to die. I'm an eternal spirit soul, and nothing can kill me. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, he also says, Nainam chindanti sashtrane, nainam dadati pavaka, nachainam kledayantyapo, nasho chayati marutaha. He says that this soul can never be cut by any weapons. It can't be burnt by fire, moistened by water, or withered by the wind. So we have so much fear, like of fire, of like drowning in water, of hurricanes and all these things. But one who understands that actually these things can never affect us. There's no weapon that can actually kill us. Even bombs, even atomic bombs, they can't harm us. They can only kill our body. But actually we're not this body. This body is just our covering, and our soul cannot be affected by any of these things. And so, by this knowledge we have a understanding, at least a theoretical understanding. But then it says that just this knowledge, like jnana, that's not sufficient actually to free us from all of our fear. We can only be completely free from fear when we come to the level of bhakti yoga. Because, bhakti means love for God. Because when we have bhakti, then we understand that God's in control. We can see God's hand in every situation. And so, we understand that God is sarva karana karanam. God is the cause of all causes. God is the most powerful person, and he's the supreme controller. There's no one more powerful than God. And at the same time, that same person who's the most powerful in the entire creation, he's suridam sarvabhutanam. Krishna says this in the Bhagavad Gita, that I am the best friend of every living entity. So if the greatest person in the entire creation, the most powerful person, who says not even a blade of grass moves without his will, if that same person is our best friend and our ever well-wisher, how can we have fear? There's a nice story of, it's a king and his minister. So I said that, this king and minister were very close. Wherever the king would go, his minister would also come with him. So one day, the king went out hunting, and his minister came with him. And while they were out hunting, the king, he cut his finger. His finger got cut off. And so the king, he was in so much pain, he was in so much anxiety, how will I do my things now? I don't have one finger. And in his pain, he turned to his minister, who he's really close with. He's like, why did this happen? How did this happen? He turned to him for some explanation, some answer. And his minister said that everything happens by the will of God, and that whatever God does is good. So the king got angry that I'm here in so much pain, my finger's cut off, I'm in so much anxiety, and now you're saying that everything that God does is good? He's like, how can you say this? So he took his minister and he put him in prison. And then, as some time passed, the minister's in prison. And then the king, he goes out hunting again another day. And while he's out hunting, some dacoits come, and they capture the king. And then these dacoits, they're Kali worshippers, those who know God is Kali. So they wanted to do a human sacrifice. They wanted to sacrifice this king to their goddess Kali. So they brought the king, the priest was preparing him for the offering, and then the priest noticed that he has one finger missing. So the priest said, we can't offer a defected body to goddess Kali. This is not suitable for our offering. So they let the king go. And then the king was so relieved that he was just about to die, and somehow he was freed. And then he remembered the words of his minister. When he cut his finger, his minister told him that everything that God does is good, and this happened, it must be by God's will. And then he remembered, he was like, oh my God, this is definitely God saving me today. If I didn't have cut my finger that day, I would have been killed right now. So he ran back to the prison and he took out his minister. He's like, I'm so sorry. Today I understood what you told me. And he told them the story. And then he said, but I have one question. If everything that God does is good, why did God put you in prison? You were innocent. You didn't do anything wrong. So the minister, he said that, yeah, that's a good question, but there's also a reason for that. He said that because I'm always with you, that day that you went to the forest and got caught by the dacoits, if I wasn't in prison, I would have gone with you, because wherever you go, I go. And when they saw that your body was defective, if I was there, they would have gotten me, because my body is whole, and then they would have killed me. So God saved me by instead of dying today, he just put me in prison for a few days. And so this story shows us, because like I said, God is the most powerful personality, and at the same time, he's our best friend. So some people can say that if God is all-powerful, he's in control, and he's also my best friend, then why am I suffering? Why do I face so many obstacles in my life? If God is all-powerful, he should be able to solve all my problems, especially if he's also my best friend. Why will he want me to suffer? But then this can also be just because we're not seeing the whole, the bigger picture. God has a much broader view than we have. He can see the whole picture of eternity, whereas we can only see a very small amount of time. And so, yeah, just like this, the king, when he cut off his finger, he was like, God must not be good if he's doing this to me. But then later he realized that actually God was saving me in this position. So if we have that, if we have the knowledge and we also have the trust in God, that actually everything God is doing is for a reason. And even when apparently I'm in a difficult situation, this is also God's grace. And actually this is God's greatest grace, because he's protecting me from something much more dangerous, or he's trying to teach me a valuable lesson that I need to learn. And so, yeah, this knowledge with love and faith, it leads to fearlessness, even in the most fearful situations that we face in this world. It says just like a child, when he's on the lap of his parents, he's completely fearless. So in a similar way, when we are protected by God, we can also have that fearlessness. And like a child, when they're lost, how much anxiety they have. If you find like a small child, they're like 3-4 years old, and they like lose their parents in like a big crowded place. They're so afraid, like so fearful. I remember when I was small, because I grew up in India, so we were living in Vrindavan, Mayapur for some time, and there they have a big temple. And I remember getting lost in the temple when I was really small, and it was like such a, yeah, I would be so afraid, like so scared, such a traumatic experience of getting lost in like a huge crowd. You think it's like the end of the world. But actually this is like the position of all of us in the material world. We're out of connection with God, who is our eternal mother and father. And therefore we're in such a state of fearfulness and such a state of anxiety, because we're out of connection with our eternal protector, our eternal mother and father, Shri Radha and Krishna. And in this position, we're full of fear. But then as soon as the parents, they come back and they pick up the child again, then immediately the child loses all of the fear. So this is the process of Bhakti Yoga, the process of Krishna consciousness, is about reconnecting us to Radha and Krishna. And in this way, when we're reconnected to God, then we can become completely fearful. Because we understand that I may be small, I may be weak in so many ways, but I am protected by the most powerful person. So just like a child is very vulnerable, very weak, very small, but if they have powerful parents who are very loving, they have no fear at all. And so in the similar way, a devotee is like that. A devotee is fully confident of the protection of the Lord, and so they're completely fearless. That even though I'm not so powerful, my Lord is completely full of power, and so I'm just as strong as him because I'm protected by him. And we can see the perfect example of this in the life of Prahlad Maharaj. Many of you probably know the story of Prahlad Maharaj. especially now there's the movie Mahavatar. So we can see this example in Prahlad Maharaj. He was a small child, 5 years old, and his own father, who was supposed to be his protector, he was actually trying to kill him. But Prahlad had so much faith, so much devotion, that even in the most fearful situations, the most dangerous, that I'm sure many of us, all of us probably have never experienced the type of dangerous situations that Prahlad Maharaj was put in. But Prahlad Maharaj, even though he was such a small child, he was completely fearless. And in such terrible situations. Because he was completely confident that Krishna will protect me completely. It said that, Krishna is the best source of, the most worthy person for us to put our faith, our trust in. He's the best protector. In this world, we might put our faith in so many people. But first of all, those people are not all powerful. And they're also full of fear in so many other ways. So they can't give us complete shelter, complete fearlessness. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a nice verse in the 3rd canto, chapter 2, text 23. It says, Aho bhagiyam stanakala kutam jigyam sayapaya yadapya sadvi lebhe gatim datrichitam tatonyam kamva dayalum sharanam vrajema. It says, how can I take shelter of one more merciful than he, who awarded the position of mother to the demon Putana who tried to kill him? So Krishna is so kind that, like in this world, we can have so many friends, so many people who we like, but if we make a small mistake, we can immediately break a relationship. But Krishna is so kind, so merciful, and so forgiving that even there was one demon, Putana, who tried to kill him. And even to that person who tried to kill him, Krishna, he gave her the position of his own mother in the spiritual world. And so it said that there's no one more merciful than Krishna. And there's no greater shelter that we can have in this world than when we take shelter of Krishna. Because then we can actually be fully confident that Krishna will never betray me. Krishna will never let me down. Because even though we make so many mistakes, Krishna always forgives us. Krishna's mercy is unlimited. And so when we take shelter of him, Lord Ram, he says that anyone who once takes shelter of me, I promise that I will protect him forever. And so, this is the mercy of the Lord, and this is the wonderful opportunity that we have to take shelter of the Lord, and then he grants us complete protection. Sometimes we won't be able to understand his protection, but those who have devotion and who practice the process, they will gain the faith through practical realization that, yes, Krishna is there for me, and Krishna will protect me in all situations. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the end, Krishna, he says, Sarva dharman parityaja, mamekam sharanam vaja, aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksheshyami ma shuchaha. He says, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I will deliver you from all sinful reactions, do not fear. So this is the process that the Bhagavad Gita is teaching us, to just surrender to Krishna, and immediately all of our fear will go away. And we can see this wonderfully in the life of Srila Prabhupada. Actually, Srila Prabhupada, his name is Abhay Charan. Abhay means fearless, and Charan means the lotus feet of the Lord. So the name Abhay Charan means one who is fearless, having taken shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. And Prabhupada, he fully lived up to this name. When he was 70 years old, he boarded a ship and he went to America. In those days, it wasn't like now that so many people, they were traveling all around the world. It was like a very unusual thing, especially for an elderly sadhu, to travel all the way to a foreign land. Prabhupada had never been outside of India in all of his life. And he didn't have money with him. He didn't have friends in America. He didn't know anybody there. But his spiritual teacher, his guru, gave him the instruction that you should share this knowledge with everyone in the world. And so Prabhupada, he took this great risk. He went on the Jaladuta, which was a 30-day long ride. It was on a cargo ship to America. And they said that on that journey, everyone was telling him before he went that, Swamiji, you shouldn't go, you're already old. They said that if you go on this long journey in the sea, that, you might even die. Your health is not good for that. And actually, Prabhupada, he experienced 2 heart attacks on that trip. And he said that if one more heart attack came, then definitely he would have died. But Krishna, he saved him. And then when Prabhupada got to America, he didn't know anybody there. And nobody knew about Krishna consciousness. Nobody knew anything about Krishna. But Prabhupada, he just went to one park and he started chanting Hare Krishna, doing kirtan. And he, in his place, just one small room, he started reading from the Bhagavad Gita and giving lectures and just made it open that whoever wants can come. So slowly a few people started attending and learning. And yeah, from there, so many amazing things happened. Now we have ISKCON as one of the biggest spiritual organizations in the world, and it's expanding so much. We have temples all around the world. But this is because Prabhupada and all the risk that he took, and because he was so fearless, and because he completely knew that Krishna is protecting me. And because he knew that he could go alone, even in old age, even in poor health, even with no money, no friends, he could go with complete confidence that Krishna is with me, and I am doing this for Krishna. I am doing this to bring Krishna to the world. And he had that full faith that Krishna will protect me. And so Prabhupada did that. So it's almost time for our tea. We have like 2 minutes, so I'll just open it up if anyone would like to share any comments, any reflections, any questions you have, anything you'd like to say, please, I'll be happy to hear.